All right, what's up, guys? So, May, yet again, another not so good month. But I think we have finally made it through to the other side. I finally got to the light at the end of the tunnel. First off, I'm gonna go over May's sales and everything, um, and just kind of explain like what happened and everything, and then which honestly will not be much different than the last few months. It's just sales just aren't there, and that's the hardest part. But we'll dive into it. So, right over here is last month, which is the May 1st through the 31st. You can see that I did make about $5,105 of profit, which is actually more than the last few months. Let's just pull up the last few months. So we'll do that. This is Seller Board, by the way. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. I use it to track all my sales just because it's faster. QuickBooks is better, more detailed, but this gives you like real time updates for your sales. So there is a link in the description if you want to check it out. Anyways, on Seller Board, you can divide it up by month to date. So this is this month, month of June, and then last month, April, and then March. So the month of May right here, you can see that I actually did better than the last few months, but I almost did worse. I did worse in March, profit-wise, because here's the sales. Here's what I'm going to get paid out into my bank account, and then the gross profit. And then once everything is netted out, completely net, we're going down to 165 for the month of May, off of $5,105 of sales. So I actually lost money last month because my expenses outpaced my profits. Then again in April, same thing. I only made $3,934. I have an estimated payout of $2,439. Gross profit $723. Netted negative 75, which is actually better than March. Again, 4,100, 2,400, 472 for gross, and then net down to 200 negative $262. So the last few months I've been losing money, and it has not been pretty. I blame that one on lack of sales. Well, not lack of sales, obviously lack of sales. I blame that on lack of inventory. I let my inventory go kind of low, down to, I think it was all the way down to into the 600s after the Christmas and January season, because I sold out a whole bunch of college books. And I think that really played a big factor in it. And also, I've been buying solely for the sole purpose of looking forward to now. Well, it's not quite yet here, but you can see in just 5 days, I've reached the end of the tunnel. I've gotten to textbook season has started. It's not in the heat of anything, but it is beginning. You can see this month so far I've only done $1,240 in sales, but that doesn't mean nothing because I've netted $285 positive. You can see back here, like last month, I made 5,100, but I netted profit-wise, the number that matters, negative 165. So you see that the sales numbers don't really matter. Like you're not getting any good information, getting good business. You're not gonna be able to make good business decisions off of the sales number. You got to come down here and look at the net profit. And this we'll look at it a little deeper. Another thing you can do with Seller Board is break it down to the day by day. We'll just go for the last 3 days. Yesterday was my best day so far for the past few months. Made $588 in sales. Estimated payouts $459, gross $210, and then no expenses came out that day, so my net profit was $210. So you see that like your sales don't really matter. You got to look at this net profit number. Today I'm starting off with a refund already, so that sucks. But so my monthly for what I'm doing for the month, we'll put my month on there too instead of the last 3 days. So for the month, I'm sitting at $285 of profit. Hopefully I get some good sales today. Haven't got anything so far, but I'm predicting to get a good amount of sales today. I just needed to pop up here and take out that $45. But that's the beauty of this month. This month is amazing because you're like months previous, I'd have like a day where I had a ton of sales and then several days of nothing, not really much. Book or two would sell. But now it's rapid fire. Like every day I'm getting quite a few books sold. And so even though my expenses are up and even though I got a return today, it doesn't matter because my sales are going to outpace it now. Finally. Hopefully. I'm being confident right now, but it could switch up on me. But what I'm saying is the difference between off season, this business in the off season and the business now is this right here. These 2 months you can see. The on season, you're off of $1,240 of sales. I'm making positive 285. Off season, when it's not, textbook season or Christmas or, the season for the books that you're buying, you're doing $5,000 in sales, but you're netting negative 165. Now, everybody's business is going to be different. I probably have higher expenses than most, just because this year I'm trying to really take hold of my accounting and stuff, so I'm spending a little bit extra money on that. I am paying for Bookmine, which is it's a little expensive. It eats into this number right here. If I didn't have that, I would pretty much be, well, I wouldn't quite be there, but it'd be really close to positive. But it's so valuable to me to have that, to have the education. It's no longer a sourcing tool for me, really. I still use it as a sourcing tool, obviously, but to me, it's a learning tool. And that's why I'm dedicated to paying for that each month so that I can take that knowledge, get as good as I can on these seasonal books, and then take that knowledge and just, multiply it for the years to come. But that's where I lacked the last few years is the seasonal thing. So I really need to take care of that. But anyways, that's what, you either increase your sales to improve this number or you decrease your expenses. And right now my expenses, I kind of have everything down to where I want it. So could I be in the positives if I took a little more, away from my expenses? Yes, but I don't want to because right now my accounting's on point. My education is rolling really well. I see that education working right now because I've learned so much from Bookmine and Joji and Victor about the seasonal aspect of this business that right now is the time that I'm going to reap the benefits of, having, delayed my gratification for so long. Because now all my textbooks are checking in. We'll come back over here and I'll look at my inventory because I'm pretty sure it's up there now. Of course I gotta log in. But I'm up into the 900s. Let's see, it's 6, 3, 8. There we go. Look at this. Manage all inventory. That was what the biggest issue I think with my off season is my inventory was so low that it wasn't helping. I'm just under 900, but yeah, I'm right there. It's real close. I still have more shipments coming and checking in, so I should be in the 900 pretty easily. And I believe that that's going to, if I can keep my inventory up, I'm now tracking how many books I'm buying compared to how many books I'm selling. That way I can either break even on that number every day or, hopefully exceed it. That way my inventory is growing. So the next year when I come out of off season, it won't hurt me so much. I won't go into the negatives so much. I'll have a good inventory built up to where, I won't be making crazy sales, but at least I'll be making something, then that's the biggest thing for me. I think that was why my off season was so horrible on me, because I'm solely online. I only do A to A or E to A, Amazon to Amazon or eBay to Amazon. I don't do bulk buying. I don't do thrifting anymore. I used to, and it's, for accounting wise, it's a nightmare. A to A, the accounting stuff is super simple. E to A is super simple, and stuff. And that's been my goal, is to get that more on point and understand my numbers more. and I'm getting there, you know. And I'm so, but being A to A and E to A, you're not. I think that your off season is a little more intense. I don't know for sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that your off season's a little more harder on you with that. Unless you just know your rare books and you know like what's gonna sell on the off season. But from my understanding, the E to A and A to A book flipping is all about the seasonal aspect of this. You know, that's the time with those books that you're buying is the this time right now when books start really ramping up and start selling well. But it takes a while to get there, and it's not, that's the gut check period. You know, you got to get through that. And let's see, because you can see, I even 2 days ago I only made $150, but I still made, you know, or I didn't make anything. I lost 1652, which sucks because the 2 refunds killed me. And right now my refunds are kind of picking up a little bit, and it's upsetting me, but it is what it is. And 3 days ago I made $195 with 1 refund in there, but made $41, and that's pretty much what's given me everything for this month so far. And I'm really excited about this month coming forward, because you can tell that my May month, it was a rough one. It sucked with all the refunds and everything coming through. It was really tough, but like I said, we're at the end of the tunnel now. We're finally seeing some sales going on, some net profit coming on. Obviously my expenses, there's not much expenses that come out so far, just my ChatGPT. And that's, you know, that's the hard part once the expenses start coming on. But if my sales are outpacing my expenses, then we're good, you know. But if we go through the heart of the season and my expenses are like killing my sales for the heart of the season, that's whenever I need to start looking at my expenses, be like, okay, my business is not ready for this. You know, I need to, you know, reevaluate my expenses a little bit. A lot of the expenses that I've done for like the year-round subscription just to save a little bit. But my monthly expenses is as low as I could get it without, you know, taking away some valuable tools, because my expenses right now, seller board, the way you do is you put all your expenses in one area. It's weird it's only got one. But anyways, last month my expenses ended up being $856 total with everything. One, because I screwed up and wasn't filing 0 on my sales tax form for my Virginia prep center. I didn't know that. For Colorado, it's every year. You file it, you know, once a year, and you know you're good. But for Virginia, it's every single month you have to file it. And I got a penalty for almost every month that I missed, which, as you can see, was a lot of months. I did not know. But now I know. So I'm not making that mistake again. That was a pricey mistake. I do have my Central Virginia prep, which money well spent right there, and it is climbing in price. You can see I did 114 here, 149 here. That's because I'm ramping up how many books I'm sending in. I'm trying to increase my inventory right now. That is my goal, is to get as many books as I can in up until until I feel like I'm making enough money to, you know, sustain my business. But right now I'm not. So the goal is to increase the inventory. So I'm actually reducing my costs of what I'm buying. And then my accounting stuff, QuickBooks, money well spent here. You know, I'm learning QuickBooks. I'm getting really good at it, and hopefully I can start making some videos about QuickBooks once I really grasp the concept of it. A2X is like a software that brings all your Amazon sales over to QuickBooks, and I like that one. I think I'm really not 100% sure like how that works. I'm still learning QuickBooks, but I'm sure once I learn QuickBooks completely, I'll appreciate this. But golly, that's an expensive monthly payment to bring all all your sales and information and returns and all that information over from Amazon to QuickBooks. That's what that subscription's for, and it's I'll hopefully I'll be able to understand it more. I'll be able to explain it to you a little bit better. BookMine, of course, like I explained earlier, it's a good learning tool for me now, and I'm not going to not pay this until I have 100% confidence and go through a couple seasons of textbook seasons and understand exactly the dates that I need to like learn and understand. Because BookMine is a great sourcing software as well. If you just don't want to worry about it and just go in there and don't filter all the time like Keepa makes you do. But it's really expensive, and it really eats away at profits whenever you're first starting out. Or even with me, whenever I'm 4 years in and I'm still like thinking, ugh, it hurts, but it is what it is. Next insurance, you're going to need this. If you ever hit 10K in sales in any single month, I only did 1 month last year, over 10K, and they made me get next insurance. So it is what it is. $46.50 for that. ChatGPT. This is pretty much another accounting software for me. Anytime I have a question about like what I want to categorize my expense as, I'll hop into ChatGPT and ask like, what do I categorize a loan payment as, and it'll break it down for me. Central Virginia Prep at 114. Of course, I'm gonna need that, and then these two are I sell on Amazon Canada and I sell on Amazon Mexico, and they kind of split up your payment between the 3, Canada, Mexico, and USA. They split up the 3 payments of the monthly payment. And so if you don't make enough sales in either one of these, they'll charge you whatever it is. And I wish that I could stop selling on these, because there's a lot of other charges, like my credit card, which I can eventually get a credit card that doesn't charge fees like that for foreign expenses. But I get charged for that, and then I get these charges. It's just kind of stacking up a little bit, and it's annoying, but whatever. But anyways, that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at, I'm expecting to come out with a few more videos like this that are going to be like more about, what sold and how much money I'm making during the textbook season. Like I've done the what sold throughout all of this time in, the low times, and I've done several negative profit videos. And, I've had a lot of people ask me like, well, you're doing a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. And for the last few months, they're right. It's been horrible for the last 2 months, but, finally, I think that we're going to be able to show exactly why we're doing this work. It's not for nothing. It's just, you have to delay the gratification for a little bit in order to get to this type of season. Right now, June's whenever we're starting to climb. We're not like the peak's up here, but the climb's down here, and we're starting it. We're on the ascent. We weren't going down to the valley for a long time. Valley, and then finally June hits, and now we're starting to ascend up to that peak. And that peak is August. August is whenever the peak happens, and we're almost there. It's not too far away. We got June, all of June, July, and August. And if things keep going like they're going right now, we're gonna look good in August. Trust me. I almost hit 1,000. Well, not almost 1,000. Almost hit $600 in a single day yesterday. We'll see what today brings, but that's about it, guys. May sucked, but June's gonna be a lot better. So looking forward to it. Subscribe if you want to see some more videos that explain how this textbook season is going, because I think it's gonna be a good ride. All right.